Hello indie game fans, the indie games keep on coming with more action titles and cozy games in this video, so let's begin with Monolith, Requiem of the Ancients, a third-person action-adventure title that looks decent, if a little generic, especially with the character design of the protagonist, who is of course on another quest to save the planet. However, he does have something known as the power of the runic swarm at his disposal, which allows him to take on all sorts of enemies, which is a form of arcane energy that can be used to conjure up monolithic constructions to be used as both weapons and tools, even extending to companions, shields, decoys, and more. As such, this leads to varied and fun combat with weapon variety, so the action looks top-notch and should be a good one for next year. Morkull, Ragast's Rage is a 2D action platformer title in which you play as the god of death and darkness with the ability to break the fourth wall, but curiously, stops short of calling itself a Metroidvania. The fourth wall is one of those controversial aspects of games, since the character is aware that they are in a video game and will speak directly to you, the player, which, when done right, can be clever, but is pretty cringe if done badly, so let's see where this ends up, having decent looking action and platforming to round off the package. This video is brought to you by Pixel Starships 2, a sci-fi MMO strategy game that is the sequel to a long-running title that released in 2018, with this looking to be a bigger, more ambitious iteration on that concept. It aims to be the ultimate shipbuilder and sci-fi strategy game in which you are placed in charge of your own fleet, having to choose, customize and construct such vessels, hire crew, manage upgrades, explore the galaxy and conquer your sector of space. There are different alien races and factions, with diplomacy being key, as well as research and exploration, and of course, if you do run into other players, there will be conflict. Interestingly, combat is in real time, in which you are firefighting, diversing power to critical systems while attempting to destroy or disable your opponent, all being set in a persistent online world and looks pretty good. It is currently on Kickstarter seeking funding and has already been fully funded within 24 hours, but check it out for stretch goals and rewards. Another amazing looking action title is the interestingly named Dead Flamingo, in which you play as a young fisherman in a world that ends every 7 days. You are largely exploring this flooded world on your ship, which has the ability to dive and go underwater as well, where giant monsters, sunken cities and more await. Of course, the action and combat will be parts of this, in which you are wildly swinging your weapons, and while it looks rather beautiful overall, there's something unsettling and not quite right about the world. Where I don't know if the shaky camera and glitchy enemy animations are supposed to be there or not, but it looks like a weird and interesting title worth keeping an eye on. I did have Terra Memoria on my watchlist, but it was just a teaser at the time, and they have released a new gameplay trailer for this self-described RPG title that mixes 2D pixel art and 3D environments. Ancient robots have suddenly awakened, which has thrown the world into chaos, which, combined with the lack of magical crystals, spurs 6 friends on to investigate, embarking on a road trip style adventure across this fantasy world. Curiously, the focus seems to be on world building and exploration, in which you can meet various NPCs, craft items, repair villages and change the world in that sense, but still has turn-based combat, which was what I was confused about with regards to the initial review. The pixel art is great, although the lighting bloom effect seems to have been turned all the way up, but it is certainly one of interest. I caught wind of this game via Twitter, and while Sigil of Kings does use an asset pack for enemies, I do think that there's something to this traditional roguelike RPG since it's an underserved genre. Generally speaking, I think that asset packs are fine for environmental objects like trees and rocks and so on, which saves developers time, but I'm pretty particular about your main characters and also enemies to a smaller extent, since these are the characters that your players will spend the most time with and should at least be more unique. But it's possible for success if you have a more mechanics-driven game, such as the Dungeon Beneath, and in this case as well, it is set in a huge contiguous fantasy world with monsters, the dead coming back to life, warring nations, interdimensional terrors and more, so as an apprentice of the Seekers Guild, adventure across the world to reassemble a lost sigil so that you can close the rifts and to restore peace to the land. It looks ambitious and systems driven in that roguelike kind of way and has potential. Just a quick one here, since I saw the news and had to share, since the sequel to an excellent first-person puzzle game, the Talos Principle 2 got a release date in November and appears to be very similar to the original game but expanded in terms of puzzles and the philosophical topics that it touches on. It is set in a world in which biological humans are extinct, but human culture lives on in a city of robots, providing a very curious backdrop to explore these ideas, even more so in this recent AI boom period, with the history of the first game giving me confidence that the sequel will be good as well. The developer of GREENFIELD did reach out to me via email, so indie devs, you can do that via the link in the description below, with this game being a sleek looking story-driven adventure puzzle platformer. It follows a lineage of such games like Limbo, Inside, Somerville and Planets of Lana, largely being games in which you move from left to right, solving puzzles and experiencing the world built along the way. The setting here is neat, since it is on a forgotten island facility in which you can acquire abilities from lost technology as you make your way to the center, with this trailer being absolutely stunning in showing off the art style. Other interesting bits and bobs include the giant bird creature, underwater giant mermaid thing, some sort of astral projection, as well as a flaming bull, quickly escalating to my top of my watch list in the process. What do you get when you cross the Backrooms, Slenderman and Earthbound/Undertale? Well, the Back World seems to be that, being a turn-based RPG with a deceptively cute look, but where the internet's favourite creepypasta takes center stage. To be completely honest, horror games are not my jam since I do enjoy clean underpants, but I might be tempted with the pixel art and concept of this one, since horror enemies aside, it does look rather Earthbound-like. The addition of these horror elements might make it insanely popular, see the sheer number of Backrooms games for example, so do take note of this if you're curious. Alright, let's reset with Go Town, an adorable looking city builder title in which you're the mayor of the town and have to revive it through construction, hiring staff, automating deliveries, attracting tourists, and more. It looks absolutely wonderful in both the animated cutscenes and the 3D look in gameplay, having kind of an Animal Crossing vibe, but with more structure I suppose. It looks ultra cozy and is from developer Prideful Sloth, who made Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles and Grow Song of the Evertree, so it's no wonder that this is the case. Another game with a pedigree of note is this exploration adventure title with a co-op twist, coming to us from the developer of Hohokum, Wilmot's Warehouse, I Am Dead and Loot Rascals, a developer named Richard Hogg and his team at Hollow Ponds, where you can probably tell from the art style alone that it is from this team. It's a multiplayer co-op title in which you play as a flying shepherd with your own flock of wonderful flying creatures, having to discover the secrets of the land as you fly about, looking so freeing and capturing the essence of flying, and seems to be very much like Hohokum in that sense, but with a little bit more structure, so it will probably join the list of the best relaxing games in this video.